Lately, we've been talking about a lot of heavy stuff, and I sort of just wanted to do a little bit of a sit down, chill, light-hearted topic today. One that is, of course, very nuanced, and that is boy crazy women are not girls. While I do find a lot of truth in that sentiment, it's not like I've ever been a boy crazy girl. I mean, I've definitely been crazy. This is something that tends to ruin a lot of relationships between girls, between femmes, because you have one person who's right here who doesn't really give a damn about male attention. They don't really want male attention to even begin with. And they're sort of in this predicament where they are very secure in themselves and they are quite confident. However, they're friends with this other person who is very centered around getting validation from men, constantly getting attention from men, constantly talking about men and masks. And it can get quite frustrating, especially when you get ditched by this person because all they wanted was just something there to fill the void in the meantime until they got that male validation. And I definitely think that that's a problem within itself because obviously you are craving something that has never really been there to begin with. You may have a situation in which this femme, this girl, has had issues growing up, not really having a present father figure there, being bullied at school by guys maybe. She may have had really terrible experiences with guys. They may be at a point in their life that is all they crave and desire. And while I think there is absolutely nothing wrong with that, it brings in a larger conversation here. If you are the person who is to get that male attention and that male validation and they don't, it turns into a situation where they try to take something that you have. But then there's blame on both parties here. You see, I started watching Vanderpump Rules recently and I started on the newest season. I know, silly me, but I kept seeing a lot of talk about it online and I saw what that chick Raquel did and I had so much hope in her. I had so much belief, but when it all comes down to it, some of these people will choose a man every time over their supposed besties.
Boy crazy women are not your friends. And any friendship that you think you have with them is a one-sided friendship. When a woman finds her self-worth in male attention and male validation, they will do anything to get it. These women will choose whatever man is currently giving them attention over you, over themselves, and over everything else. Even if that means, in a worst-case scenario, putting you in a potentially dangerous situation, like leaving you alone at a bar without telling you because they wanted to go see a man. Sound familiar? But these women will be the first to call you when they need something. They got dumped and they need to talk about it, which is also exhausting to be on the other end of. The point is, you cannot expect a woman to see the value in female friendship when she doesn't even see the value in herself.
I think the end part is a little bit too much, especially because most of us here don't see a lot of value within ourselves to begin with. And I'm not talking directly to you because if you find a lot of value in yourself and you're very secure and very confident, I'm so proud of you. Literal high five for that, man. However, there are a lot of people out there who aren't secure within themselves and they don't really care for a man, for a woman, for them. They generally don't give a flying spit on the head. I kind of wanted to talk about my experience with this because there have been times in my life where I have befriended the quote unquote boy crazy women, and it turned out to be that they would ditch me, cancel on me, be the absolute worst to me whenever a man came into their life. And it's very hard, you see, because it's like, I love you and I want to be there for you, but I can't just be here for you whenever you feel like it. I can't be a stepping stone or a doormat or something to fill the void for you in the meantime until you meet somebody who can basically give you all of that and more, because that is what you're looking for in the end, right? A man, not me, not your girlfriend who literally has your back throughout anything, even your dumbass decision intentions to constantly get back with this toxic man. But I digress. I think it's interesting because I look at experiences I've had, and even as far as to the experiences those closest to me have had with these kinds of people, and it does get very dangerous. For example, there was this one time that this particular person and my particular person went to go to a bar. This person got absolutely shit-faced, and my person did not want to do that. They ended up getting into a really, really dangerous situation where one of them got kicked out of the bar for getting too wasted, and this person, my person, just felt really unsafe. It was very, very late at night. Then what do? You have this person who has literally tricked you to go on a night out with them because they want to make friends, they want to do this, they want to meet the girls, they want to have fun and let their hair down. But instead, it turns into oh, actually, I only brought you here as a crutch for me to go and talk to these men, to go and throw myself at these people. And there is a lot of issues you have to have within yourself to do that in the first place. And I don't think that that is right whatsoever. To trick somebody into either going out with you or being friends with you just to fill something or be a crutch for you in the meantime until you find that man who can give you everything and more, I don't really think that that's okay. I also really wish that I knew this sentiment earlier, because it would have saved me from a lot of self-doubt, thinking that, they ditched me because I wasn't fun to hang around. I was a very boring person. Like, what was it about me that they didn't want to hang out with me anymore? But instead, this guy was way more fun. And the only time I was ever spoken to was whenever they broke up. So I think, that is also an issue within itself. But then you got to think about the ways in which it even gets a girl or femme to that point where the only validation they seek or want, crave, is from men. It's not really up to anyone to, especially like friends or whatever, to try and help this person out in their situation, because you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make them drink it. You can give a chip to your bestie, but she's not going to put it in the dip unless she really wants to. And that's why I think it's not really fair to write off boy crazy or really, woman crazy or them crazy people off to be red flags or bad friends. I think someone's really got to show you that first before you can see, okay, well, they don't actually value me as a person to begin with. They only, once again, want to use me as a crutch. I am filling their void in the meantime, and that's all I am to them right now. I'll even go as far as to talk about another situation. So there was an acquaintance I had, and she would always comment on my ex and say how hot he is, how lucky I am, how this, how that. And I'm just thinking, okay, sure. And then it got to a point where, that whole situation ended because of attempted abuse. Really terrible things. Horrible, horrible, horrible. I don't even want to think about it, bro. I'm getting all jittery. But she still continued to follow this person all over their social media because they never did that to them. So why should I stop being friends with them? I just told you. But it's not even just about that. I just think it is very weird. I just thought that situation within itself was weird enough to mention to further prove the point that, yeah, you do have to be cautious and you do have to be mindful that there are these types of people out there in the world, and a lot of them I feel as though I feel very bad and sorry for, because you have to have such low self-worth to be pushing all your girl best friend, all your femme friends aside just for, that attention. I just find a lot of the experiences that I saw stitched to this TikTok to be quite alarming, mostly because we don't even really see it until somebody else mentions something and is like, hey, well, isn't it pretty weird whenever this person only wants something to do with you when they get dumped, when they take a dump, and how you're not really that important because they will put you in the worst situations possible, not even just you, but themselves in the worst situations possible, all for that male validation. Now, validation is very important to a lot of us. It's what a lot of us crave, but that validation should never be above your safety or above the people who really have your back and love and care for you so much. Tell me about your stories in the comment section below. I would love to hear what you have been through, like what your experiences are. I mean, I don't love that happened to you. I just mean, like, you know, what's the word? I would be interested in hearing them. So with all of that being said, everybody, take care of yourselves and most of all, love your fucking selves.